and happy Black History Month 2017. The month of February has been designated for us to reflect, observe, and celebrate the magnificent contributions of our ancestors, forefathers, and even our present-day living legends. These contributions not only impact the African American community, but also impacts every nation, every creed, and every color. Today, I have been given the honorable task of reflecting on our music and its impact in the African American church. I have asked a few of our music ministry members to educate you and maybe remind you of the various types of music that have evolved over the centuries in the African American church.
Our African American church music got its origin during the days of slavery from the old Negro spirituals. However, these songs were not composed to sing in a church with four walls as we're accustomed to today. No. The Negro spirituals we sing in today's time, referring to heaven, were actually songs used among the slaves as a secret code of how to escape to freedom. Most of these songs began with Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad movement. For instance, wade in the water, wade in the water, children. God's gonna trouble the water. Was a warning to get into the rivers to avoid being seen by masters and bounty hunters in order to escape. If a slave was heard singing, steal away, steal away, steal away to Jesus, it was an indication he or she was planning to escape. And swing low, sweet chariot was a notification from the Underground Railroad was en route to take the slaves to the north and ultimately to freedom. These songs were used in what the slaves called praise houses and in the fields on plantations. As you know, slavery was abolished in 1865. Just after this, African Americans did not want to remember the days of slavery, and many of the Negro spirituals faded away.
Hymns, anthems, choral music. In the 1890s, many churches of the African American heritage came on the scene known as holiness and sanctified churches. African traditions continued as they sang during slavery, where the music in these churches led to hand clapping and foot stomping and shouting. However, in the 1920s, a movement began known as the Renaissance, which deeply impacted poetry and music. Although the historical meanings of many of the songs were constant, the Black Renaissance pushed singers, composers, musicians to become more educated and to produce styles of music that would encompass and enrichen. There began the birth of a new era where hymns, anthems, and choral music were sung in the churches. At that time, there was a composer who was born in Georgia, Thomas Dorsey, who wrote many songs for the African church and he wrote songs like Precious Lord, Take My Hand, Lead Me On. There were other songs written there will be peace in the valley. We'll understand it better by and by. The Lord will make a way somehow. There were other writers at that time: Chester Hairston, Harry T. Bullitt, James Weldon Johnson, and many other African American composers. They followed in writing the new church music for this era.
Traditional gospel music. In the mid-1930s, a new era of African American music appeared on the scene with Rosetta Tharpe, who dared to take the church to the ballroom and the nightclubs. This contemporary African American movement brought on a new set of avenues. We were brought into big venues, festivals, being able to celebrate our heritage. With this popular music, great pastors and groups were formed, such as the Davis Sisters, the Blind Boys of Alabama, Mighty Clouds of Joy, and the Caravans. We are blessed here at New Beginning to have one of the Caravans in our congregation. Evangelist Dorothy Norwood. African American churches during this era introduced many well-known singers as Mahalia Jackson, the Queen of Gospel, Reverend James Cleveland, the King of Gospel. Other composers and artists was formed. Minister Thomas Whitfield, I Shall Wear a Crown. Reverend Timothy Wright, Who's on the Lord's Side. Margaret DeRoe, Give Me a Clean Heart. Andre Crouch, The Blood Will Never Lose Its Power. Dr. Charles C. Hayes, Jesus Will Work It Out. The Barrett Sisters, Only a Look. And Donna Vales, Home Over the Mountain.
So, as you have heard and seen, gospel music has evolved over the many years. And even today, it continues to grow, develop, and transcend into life music that is relevant to the times. Contemporary gospel, or urban contemporary gospel, can be defined as a modern form of Christian music that expresses either personal or a communal belief regarding Christian life, as well as to give a Christian alternative to mainstream secular music. Musically, it follows the trends in secular urban contemporary music. The father of the contemporary gospel era is Edwin Hawkins, who at the age of 7 years old was already playing the piano for his family gospel choir. His most noted work is Oh Happy Day, which is still one of the most requested songs throughout the United States and the entire world. Other notable contemporaries include the Winans, with songs like Tomorrow and Ain't No Need to Worry, the Clark Sisters, with songs like You Brought the Sunshine and Pray for the USA, and Kirk Franklin, with songs like The Reason Why I Sing, Smile, and Something About the Name Jesus. As I stated, we have seen gospel evolve over the years, and even before our very eyes, we are bearing witness to new forms of gospel, which are forging their own path into the history books. Some of those forms of gospel include gospel jazz, praise and worship, and even gospel rap and trap gospel. So if you thought gospel music was losing its relevance and could become a lost art form, I am happy to report that it's not. It is here to stay and is proving itself to be just as joyful, just as inspiring, just as hopeful, and just as uplifting as it was for the generations of our people who lived long before us.
New beginning. This is just a brief synopsis of the rich legacy of music we have experienced in the African American church. We have been blessed here at New Beginning, first, to have a pastor who has a great appreciation for all styles of music, and he allows our music ministry in its entirety to be diverse in the music which is ministered each Sunday. At any given time, you can hear spirituals, hymns, choral music, traditional and contemporary gospel. It is important that we are knowledgeable of our African American church music, that we preserve it, and that we allow it to continue to grow throughout our generations to come. Continue to be immeasurably blessed of God and keep a song in your heart.